In the 2009 season, Inter Milan made history becoming the first Italian team to win a domestic treble. Under Jose Mourinho, the club won the Serie A, the Coppa Italia, as well as the UEFA Champions League. And with iconic players like Samuel Eto'o, Diego Milito, Wesley Sneijder, and Pablo Zanetti, this team was loaded. So in this video, I'm going to recreate the Inter Milan treble-winning team. And to do that, every player that I sign must be from the exact same nation as the players in the original Inter squad in 2009. For example, Wesley Sneijder was a Dutch center attacking midfielder, so to recreate him, I must sign a Dutch center attacking mid. And we must do that for every single position until we have a full starting 11, bench, and reserves. And of course, our goal is to win a treble. And here we are at Inter Milan. This is what the team looks like. We have Martinez and Thuram up top. We have Mkhitaryan, Calhanoglu, Barella, DeMarco, De Vrij, Bastoni, Akanji, Dumfries, and Sommer as our starting 11. You will also notice, since we are using the live start points, there are a couple of injuries: Calhanoglu, Dumfries, and if we go down, Darmian, Acerbi, and Palacios, as well as Di Janeiro, are all injured, but none of them out for serious time. And if we take a look at some of the contracts, Inter are losing a lot of key pieces. Jan Sommer, Akanji from loan, De Vrij, Mkhitaryan, Darmian, Acerbi, and Di Janeiro are all have 6 months left on their contract, meaning they could lose a lot of talent this upcoming season. But before we do anything else, let's get to the start of the January transfer window. We've made it to January, so we are going to change our tactics to that classic Inter Milan treble winning side. So they had a couple of different tactics they used, but primarily they ran a 4-2-3-1 narrow. So we are going to recreate their treble winning Inter Milan side in this formation. So in net for that treble-winning Inter Milan side was an outstanding world-class goalie, Julio Cesar. The Brazilian was one of the best in the world at the time, so to recreate him, we are going to be signing Luis Jr., the Brazilian goalie from Villarreal. We signed him for Zielinski and $7 million. He's going to be our backup goalie for now, as when Sommer leaves, he'll take over the job. On the left side of their attack was a North Macedonian by the name of Pandev. Super consistent, balancing the play type player, but he is by far going to be the hardest player to recreate in this team. So to try and recreate him, we are signing the only North Macedonian under the age of 23 in all of FC26. We are going to be signing Leon Tassov to recreate Pandev. And obviously, there is a lot of work to be done for Tassov. He is only 57 overall, but he's the only player young enough that we could potentially develop. So we're going to add him to the loan list and loan him out this season. On the right side of their attack was an incredible player, Samuel Eto'o. The Cameroonian was primarily a striker, but also played on the right side for that Inter treble team. So we're going to recreate him with Christian Koufain, another Cameroonian striker who can also play out wide for us. He's going to be joining us from Leverkusen. He is also primarily a striker just like Eto'o, but for this, we are going to move him down to a center attacking mid so he can play on the right side for us. In the center of their legendary attack at center attacking midfielder was a Dutchman, Wesley Sneijder. One of the best players in the world for that season, was in the Ballon d'Or race at the time. Just an incredible talent. So to recreate Wesley Sneijder, we are going to be signing the Dutchman Kes Smit. At only 19 years old, he is blowing up the Eredivisie. He's going to be a great player someday. And finally up top for Inter in that treble-winning season was an Argentinian, Diego Milito. And we have the perfect player to recreate Milito. It is going to be Martinez, our world-class striker that we already have, so he's going to represent Diego Milito. And with that, that was all the business that I could afford in Season 1, so we are just going to go right past deadline day. We are slowly going to recreate this Inter treble iconic team. And for Season 1, we decided to test ourselves, going up against our Milan rivals AC Milan, where we had a strong start. About 10 minutes in, Lautaro Martinez found Kes Smit, but his shot was just wide of the post. And only 10 minutes later, another clear chance went to waste as Lautaro Martinez's shot hit just wide of the post once again. And luckily for us, only 5 minutes before halftime, Kes Smith repossessed the ball and found Lautaro Martinez through on goal, who was not going to miss this time, meaning we are up 1-0. And luckily for us, not much happened in the second half outside of a couple chances from each team, including this insane triple save out of Jan Sommer, as well as not the best chances from us. The game ended up finishing as a 1-0 victory for Inter Milan. And that game would prove to definitely help us out, as Inter would go on to win the Serie A title in our first season as manager. But there still is a lot of work to be done, a lot of players to change. As in the Coppa Italia, Atalanta would go on to win that, as well as Arsenal would go on to win the Champions League. And having a look at the players we brought in, Kes Smith went up to a 76, Koufein's up to a 74, as well as Lewis Jr. is up to an 80. As well as Leon Tassov only went up 2 overall. It's going to be a grind for him to get up to a starting level player. And like I said before, a ton of players are leaving this season. Sommer, De Vrij, Darmian, Acerbi, De Janeiro, Akanji, and Mkhitaryan are all going to be leaving us for the start of next season. Here we are at the start of Season 2. Some changes have been made. Jan Sommer, obviously his contract expired, so it's time for Lewis Jr. to step in and take that starting role. As well as Bissek coming in as center back because we lost so many last season. And also looking at contracts, DeMarco and Calhanoglu both have under a year left remaining, so it's a perfect time for us to replace them. And before I get into the transfers, I did send a scout out to North Macedonia just in case Leon Tassov does not become a superstar. We have a backup plan. Primarily at left back for that treble winning Inter side was a very versatile Argentinian by the name of Zanetti. The captain of that squad could play almost any position in the back line, including CDM and center mid, so we are bringing in a very versatile Argentinian to replace him. We are signing Valentin Barca for just under 30 million. And the reason I think he's absolutely perfect is look at the amount of positions he can play. He also played fullback a couple years ago, and he is going to play fullback for us. I'm going to change his position, and he's going to take over when DeMarco leaves. In the defense of that legendary treble team was a Brazilian, a man that was one of the best defenders in Inter history. I am of course talking about the Brazilian Lucio. So to represent him, we are going to be signing the Brazilian center back Lucas Beraldo. We're getting him from PSG, and we signed him for 30 million. And he is sliding right into the starting 11 over Bissek. One of the CDMs on that Inter team was the Serbian Dejan Stankovic, a reliable player in midfield, and there would be no better replacement than his own son. We are going to be signing Alexander Stankovic. He is going to be joining us from Club Brugge for 9 million. And so with that, the transfer deadline is over. We're skipping right on through deadline day. I also was able to loan out Leon Tassov, so he's on loan for the next 2 years. So this is how the team is going to line up. Beraldo is jumping straight into the starting 11 as our center back, but our other 2 signings, Stankovic and Barca, are going to be on the bench for this season for when Calhanoglu and DeMarco leave next year. But the team is coming along. I'm still waiting for Christian Koufein's position change to happen, so move him to a cam, and hopefully when he gets that, he'll start skyrocketing in rating. But really quick, we are taking a stop in January because our youth scouts have come back and have found this guy, Lazar Petrov, a sick name. He looks like a beast. He is only 61 overall, but he is 17 years old, and look at that potential, between 91 and 94 potential. So I am going to promote him to the senior team, and we are going to loan him out for the rest of the season. And so for Season 2, we decided to go up against Napoli, a big opponent that we must face in the Serie A. And it took all the way until almost halftime for anything to happen. Kes Smith found some space in the box and fired it home past Napoli's goalie, putting us up 1-0 just before halftime. But in the second half, Napoli weren't going down without a fight. Somehow Lukaku was able to volley home a shot into the bottom right corner of our net. putting Napoli on the board, evening the score to 1-1. But thankfully, we came to fight as well. After some good passes in the box, Stankovic found himself through on goal, and he just barely got it past the keeper, putting us up 2-1 and securing the game-winning goal. Meaning as the full-time whistle blew, we had won the game 2-1 against Napoli. But despite that victory against Napoli, we did regress this season, finishing 4th place in the Serie A with Juventus running away with the Scudetto. The transition to our treble winning side is going to take some time, and we might have to take 1 step backwards to go 2 steps forward. And in the other competitions, in the Coppa Italia, we were knocked out in the semifinals to Juventus, and in the Champions League, we couldn't make it past the round of 16, getting knocked out against Liverpool. And having a look at some of our signings, Kes Smith went up 5 overalls this season. He's definitely going to be the breakout player to watch. He's up to an 81 overall. Kufane is now up to a 76. He's starting to go up now that he's a cam. Beraldo is an 81, as well as Lewis Jr. Stankovic has gone up a couple on the bench, as well as Barco is now up to an 80. And we're going to have a look at that North Macedonian. Lazar Petrov, just from the 6 months he was out on loan, has gone up 6 overall. That is amazing. And he's definitely going to take over as the new Pandev. Sorry, Leon Tassov, you only went up 2 overall on loan, and Petrov is 5 years younger than you. He's definitely going to be the guy I look to develop for the future. And we are also going to be losing DeMarco, Kalinoglu, and one of the Esposito brothers, all with their contracts expiring. And here we are at the start of Season 3, and we are going to continue to work on the starting 11. I'm planning on selling a lot of these players like Dumfries and Fratesi, who are on 1 year left on their contracts, to make room for the new players we are going to bring in. And we're also going to send out our North Macedonian Laser out on loan once again. So I have gone ahead and sold a couple of our players, Luis Enrique for 32 million, Denzel Dumfries for 56 million, and Carlos Augusto for 33 million, as well as Peter Sukic for 21 million. There's probably going to be more, but this is plenty of money for us to get started on some transfers. At right back for that treble squad was a Brazilian right back in the peak of his career. I am of course referring to Minecon, a legendary right back so good that he pushed Zanetti over to left back. So to recreate Minecon, we are going to be bringing in the best Brazilian right back in the world right now, in my opinion. We are going to be signing Wesley from Roma, and we were able to scoop him up for 51.6 million. At CDM was a terrifying player. The Argentinian Esteban Cambiasso ruled the midfield, an absolutely terrifying player to go up against, so consistent. So to recreate Cambiasso, we are going to be signing the Argentinian Alan Varela, and we got him from Nottingham Forest for 58 million. And at the back line, Lucio's partner in crime was an Argentinian Walter Samuel. So to recreate Samuel, we are going to be signing the 24-year-old Valentin Gomez. He is currently a 79 overall, should be a decent player for us, and we signed him from Real Betis for 35 million. And just for some extra depth right now, we are bringing in Romanian left back Andre Borza to recreate Inter's left back Christian Chivu. We signed him from Lyon for 10 million. And I'm also just going to use Sebastiano Esposito as our Balotelli recreation. And with that, I have done all the business I wanted to do, so we're going to skip right on past deadline day. And we're going to have a look at the team. This is what we're going to run with for Season 3. Our new additions, Varela and Wesley, are both in the starting 11, with Gomez on the bench as Bastoni is still in the starting 11. I think it's going to be the last year for Bastoni, Barella, and Thuram. The main pieces. Those are the last guys that are really still here from this original Inter team. But this team is really coming together. We are only a couple pieces away from recreating the full team. Mainly that left cam role for Pandev, as well as filling out the bench. But we're going to get there. This team is looking really solid, and I really want to see how far this team can develop. This season, we decided to take on another new challenge. This time, we were up against Juventus in one of our hardest challenges to date. Juventus is always a good team in career mode, but I was confident that what we were building at Inter would be able to win. But that confidence quickly dwindled as only 20 minutes into the game, Locatelli had a shot in the box that got right past our goalie. Luis Jr. was beat, with Locatelli putting Juventus up 1-0 against us, only 20 minutes into the game. But only 5 minutes later, we struck back. Varela had a fantastic cross into the back post where Christian Koufain was there to head it past Juventus's goalie. A fantastic cross into the box and a fantastic header to put it past Juventus's goalie, meaning this score was now 1-1. And another 5 minutes later, we had another opportunity. Lautaro Martinez got past his man and sweated it across to Kes Smit, who was not going to miss from there, putting us up 2-1 against Juventus, showing that this team really had some fight. And once again, 5 minutes later, Christian Koufain had some space out wide, and with a short chip into the middle, Lautaro Martinez was able to volley it home, putting us 3-1 up against Juventus. And that wouldn't be it for the first half. Lautaro Martinez found Kes Smit in the box and was not going to miss from there, putting us up 4-1 against Juventus before half. We had completely turned this game on its head. And that would basically be it. The game ended up finishing 5-1 for Inter Milan, with Martinez scoring another goal in the 77th minute, but an absolutely dominating performance against one of Serie A's best. And that domination of a game did help us in the Serie A. We did improve from last season. This year we finished in second place, but unfortunately AC Milan was ahead of us on 91 points. But only 4 losses in the entire season, that is definitely an improvement. In the other competitions, in the Coppa Italia, we went out early in the round of 16. And in the Champions League, we made it quite far, but we were knocked out in the semifinals. And having a look at some of the stats, Lautaro Martinez went off, 36 goals and 15 assists from him. He's up to a 93 overall, absolutely insane. Not to mention Nicolo Barella, who was out at left center attacking mid for us, 27 and 14 for him. And Christian Koufain, 22 goals and 8 assists. He's finally getting going. He went up 6 ratings over the course of the season. He is finally blossoming into the next Samuel Eto'o. And taking a broader look at the team, looking at our signings, Kes Smit is all the way up to an 86. I believe he went up 5 ratings this season. He did have like 16 assists. He had a great campaign. Stankovic has gone up +5 and he is now an 80, so he's now a decent level player. Barca only went up 1 because I think he got injured for a while. Luis Jr. is up to an 83. Beraldo is slowly getting up. He only went up +1. And Wesley, our right back signing, went up +2. And on the bench for us, Valentin Gomez went up 4 overall and is now an 83 because he got a ton of game time coming in as a sub. And then finally, let's have a look at our loan. Laser went up 6 overall. He is at a 73. He is growing like a weed out on loan. This is amazing. I believe he still has 1 year left on that loan, which is absolutely perfect because when he comes back for that, he'll be ready to take over the starting job. And last but not least, we're actually not losing any players this season, so let's get into season 4. So here we are at the start of season 4. And for this season, I'm mainly going to focus on the bench, as well as getting rid of some of our original players like Bastoni and Thuram. And we're starting off by selling Marcus Thuram. He's out to our rival AC Milan for 80 million. And we also found a deal for Bastoni to leave the club, so he's headed out to Liverpool for a whopping 163 million. And I also managed to sell a couple other players, Bissek, Martinez, and Juve, all out of the club, so money is not an issue at all for this season. So we are going to fly through a bunch of transfers for these bench players. So we are going to be signing Yerson Mosquera to represent Ivan Cordoba. Next up is Thiago Motta, who is representing Brazil and not Italy yet. So we are going to be signing Gabriel Moscardo for his replacement. Signing Diego Coppola to represent Marco Mazzarati. Signing Christopher Bonsuba to represent Sully Montari. Signing Stefano Torati to represent Francesco Toldi, their backup goalie. And to represent Ricardo Quaresma, we are signing João Felix. And finally, we are signing Batista Mendy to represent Patrick Vieira. So now this is what the team looks like for Season 4. The bench looks a lot better. All of these players are representing someone from the treble-winning Inter side. There is a couple more players I could potentially recreate like Marco Arnautovic, but I think I'm going to save that for next year. as our bench is already full for this year. And for this year, we decided to stop at another new opponent. This time, we're taking on Atalanta, as they are one of the last good opponents that we have not played and beat ourselves. But immediately, we were not off to a great start. Ederson found some space in the box, and only 7 minutes in, Atalanta found themselves up on us. But of course, we were able to fight. Stankovic found some space in the box, and with his left foot, buried it past the Atalanta goalie, evening the score up 1-1. And just before halftime, Lautaro Martinez was found through on goal with all of the space in the world, and you know he's a world-class striker. He's not going to miss from there, putting us up 2-1 against Atalanta right before halftime. And in the second half, we were able to keep our form. Christian Koufain drilled in a low cross to the back post where Barella was there to tap it into the net, putting us up 3-1. And just to cap it off, in the 86th minute, Martinez found Kes Smit once again through on goal, and he finished it behind Atalanta's goalie, putting us up 4-1, completing another comeback. This team really knows how to fight. So as the final whistle blew, we had demolished Atalanta 4-1 in total. But at the end of the season, it didn't really matter, as we actually surprisingly ran away with the Serie A, winning the Scudetto on 99 points, 17 points clear of second place Juventus. I had no idea we were this good already. We had a fantastic Serie A campaign. But in the Coppa Italia, we were knocked out in the round of 16 to Monza. And in the Champions League, we were also knocked out in the round of 16 to Liverpool, which means we do still have a long way to go. And having a little look at the stats, Christian Koufain had an absolutely monster year, 28 goals and 14 assists, and as you can see, he went up 6 overalls and is now an 88. What a campaign from him. Lautaro Martinez had 27 and 5. He's always doing it up top for us. Barella, it is his last season, 18 and 13, a good way to send him off. And Kes Smit, 12 and 15, a great provider at that center attacking mid spot. And just having a little look at the team, obviously, Christian Koufain went up to an 88. Kes Smit is now a 90. Our attack is looking really, really good. Wesley went up to an 87. But the rest of the defense is really slacking behind. They're not growing as fast as I would have hoped. And don't even get me started on Stankovic, who didn't go up a single rating this season. But we'll see what happens for the future. We did win the Scudetto, so you can't be mad at that. And finally, we're just going to have a little check on our loan. Lazar Petrov went up 4 overall and is now a 77. I think it's going to be his time next season. I think he's going right in the starting 11. And as I mentioned earlier, we do have some contracts expiring, including Nicolo Barella. He's up to a 93 overall, but he is going to be leaving. He has no place in this team, so we're saying goodbye to one of Inter's best. Here we are at the start of Season 5. Lazar is now in the starting 11. Hopefully he continues to grow and catch up with the rest of our insane attack that we are building here. But I do actually have some decisions to make. First of all, Beraldo is now 25 years old, and last year he had a major injury. He was out for about 4 months. I didn't show it, but it really derailed his growth, and he didn't go up a single rating last year, and it's really making me think if he is actually going to be our guy. As well as, obviously, Stankovic didn't go up at all. He's still an 80 overall. But he is the actual son of the player Stankovic, who was in the treble winning Inter side, so it doesn't feel right having anyone else here, so I think I'm going to give him a little more time. But moving back to Beraldo, I don't think he is going to be our guy. I think I'm going to look for a better Brazilian to represent Lucio, because he is just not cutting it. And Beraldo is leaving the club. We have decided to sell him. Not good enough for us to win a treble at Inter. So he's headed out to Real Sociedad for 46 million. And the player we are going to bring in to actually represent Lucio, a better representation, it is a definite upgrade than Beraldo. We are going to be signing current Nottingham Forest player Murillo. He is an absolute baller in real life and is definitely an upgrade. He is an 86 overall, so a +4 upgrade to Beraldo. We signed him from Crystal Palace in this save for 81 million. And we are also bringing in Eric Kozek to represent Marko Arnautovic. So this is now the team. Murillo makes the back line look a whole lot better, and there's really not that much else for me to do. We really just need this group of players to grow more and develop, and if we can continue that, this team could definitely win a treble. We decided to stop for a league phase match against a solid opponent, Villarreal. But almost immediately, we showed our class. Kes with some dancing in the box was able to find Stankovic, who was able to tap it home behind Villarreal's goalie less than 3 minutes into the game. And only 10 minutes later, we had another opportunity. Kufane got the ball into the middle, and with a couple extra passes, Lautaro Martinez was on the end of a shot, which went straight behind the Villarreal goalie once again, putting us up 2-0 only 15 minutes in. And it just would not stop. Another through ball to Christian Kufane found himself one-on-one with the goalie, and he low-drivened it past the far post. And once again, right before halftime, Christian Kufane shot from an insane angle that somehow went past the goalie, putting us up 4-0 in the first half. So at that point, the game was pretty much over, so we simulated to the end, and it finished as a 5-0 victory against Villarreal. This team is on something else. And that game would end up helping us out as we are at the end of the season, and in the UCL League phase, we finished in second. But unfortunately, in the Champions League, we were knocked out in the semi-finals to Real Madrid, being this close to a Champions League final appearance. However, in the Serie A, we ended up winning the Scudetto on 86 points, just ahead of AC Milan, giving us another trophy. And in the Coppa Italia, we ended up winning that 2-1 against Juventus, meaning we were this close to a treble-winning season here at Inter. And having a look at some of the stats, Lautaro Martinez had 42 goals and 10 assists, an incredible campaign for him. Not to mention Christian Kufane, 26 and 11, very solid. And Kes 21 and 15, a really good campaign for all of our attackers. So this team got really close to completing the challenge in Season 3. It seems like our addition of Murillo helped us out a lot. And we do have a lot of players that went up a ton this season. Lewis Jr. is now up to an 88. He's an incredible goalie at this point. Wesley is now an 89. Valentin Gomez is up to an 87, making him a very competent center back. Obviously, our star players, Kes is a 91 and Kufane is also a 91, but Lazar Petrov is up to an 81 overall, so maybe by the end of next season, he'll be like an 85 and he'll be a very decent player. And overall, this team looks really solid, and I think next year just might be our year. And here we are at the start of the next season. I believe it's Season 6. It might be Season 5, but the team is looking incredible. Stankovic was the only player that I was a little iffy about last season, and he went up 2 overalls, and I just don't think I can replace him, so he's going to stay in the starting 11. And I truly believe this team is good enough with a little bit of development throughout the season. This team should be good enough to win Inter a treble this season. I have fully recreated the starting 11, bench, and a couple reserves, so I think this team is perfect just as it is, and we're going to jump straight into this season. And for this season, we are stopping with a chance of winning a trophy, as we have made it all the way to the Coppa Italia final. And in that final, we have found ourselves against Juventus, a familiar foe, but if this was the season to win a treble, we needed to go out there and dominate. But as luck would have it, we got off on the wrong foot. Yildiz, straight from kickoff, got some lucky bounces in the box and finessed a shot past Lewis Jr. A pretty lucky goal, but it is a goal nonetheless. We were down 1-0 in the final. And it took until the 35th minute for us to break them down, but Kufane found some space in the box, a little step over, get past his man, and a low-driven shot behind the goalie, evening the score up 1-1. Christian Kufane has just been so good and absolutely amazing to use. And seemingly, just like that, the floodgates were open. A pass middle found Lazar Petrov in the box with a one-time finish, got past Juventus's goalie. A great finish for the North Macedonian, putting us up 2-1. And the first half wasn't even done yet. Kes got the ball in the box, who found Kufane and just needed to tap it in near post against Juventus's goalie. And just like that, we were up 3-1 going into halftime. But in the second half, Juventus finally showed some life. Jonathan David had the ball in the box and with a cheeky angle was able to score past Lewis Jr., making the score 3-2 and an interesting game. But this team was just too good for us to sell that hard. So in the 80th minute, some great passes found Lautaro Martinez in the box, who had a nice volley near post, again past Juventus's goalie, putting us up 4-2 and basically ending the game. And that was it. That was the final goal of the match. We had beat Juventus 4-2 in the Coppa Italia final. So with that win and Martinez at the podium, we had our first official trophy this season. We were on track for the treble this year. And jumping to the end of the Serie A, we were able to win that as well, finishing on 88 points, 3 points ahead of second place Juventus, achieving us our second trophy of this season, meaning we were just a Champions League final away from completing the challenge. So shifting our focus to the Champions League this season, at the end of the league phase, we actually topped it on 21 points, 7 wins and only a single loss, off to a good start. In the round of 16, we played Atletico Madrid, where we handled them 2-0 on aggregate. In the quarterfinals, we managed to beat a tough opponent in PSG, beating them 4-2. And in the semifinals, we beat Liverpool 5-2 on aggregate, setting us up for a Champions League final. And for that final, we would be up against Manchester City. But before we get into the final, let's look at some of the player stats. Christian Couffin had a monster campaign. He ended on 33 goals and 11 assists and ended up as a 94 overall. That's insane. Martinez had another great year, 32 goals and 13 assists for him, just beating out Couffin on GA, as well as Kes Smith did great as our cam and João Felix did amazing off the bench. So having one final look at the team in its entirety, it looks absolutely incredible. We had some players reach insanely high overalls. As I said earlier, Christian Couffin is up to a 94 overall. Kes Smith hit a 92, and a bunch of our other players are in the super high 80s or getting close to it. But unfortunately for us, Martinez has a red card for the UCL final, so he's not going to be able to play, and we're going to have to play Esposito instead. And it really sucks because Diego Milito in real life was the one who scored both goals in the Champions League final, which is who Martinez is supposed to be. But we can't control the bookings, so Esposito is going to have to replace him up top. So with the final team set, a treble on the line, let's get into the Champions League final. So here we go, kickoff in the Champions League final versus Man City. And it took until around the 40th minute for us to break the deadlock. Lazar Petrov found Stankovic, who then found Kes Smith and was able to beat his man, get inside the box, and low-driven it past Man City's goalie Donnarumma, putting us up 1-0 against Man City 40 minutes into the game. And only a couple minutes later, Lazar Petrov had the ball out wide, ball rolled past his defender, and finessed it past Donnarumma once again. 2 goals back-to-back for us. Lazar Petrov put us up 2-0 going into halftime. But 15 minutes into the second half, Man City showed some life. Marmoush was able to get past 2 defenders and find Gonzalez in the box, who wasn't going to miss from there. A good finish from Nico Gonzalez, putting Manchester City on the board and giving them some hope. But unfortunate for them, Couffin found some space out wide and was able to just pace by all of the Man City defenders and eventually sweat the ball across for an easy tap-in goal. Our substitute, we brought in Kozcek, the Austrian, who was supposed to be representing Arnautovic, tapped it home and put us up 3-1 against Man City. And that would be it. That would be the final goal of the match. We ended up winning the UCL 3-1 against Manchester City. It should have been Barca, who was representing Zanetti, that lifts the trophy. But for us, Varela lifted it high into the sky. Inter Milan was a treble winning club once again. So as you can see, we are given the bus celebration, and on that bus, all 3 trophies from our treble winning season. We have officially completed the challenge. And if you like seeing videos like this type of concept, I would really love to see your comments down below, maybe some suggestions on other teams I could do this with. And most importantly, if you are still watching this video, thank you so much for sticking around and supporting me and watching this video. It means the world. Check out some other videos, you know, I think they're cool. But for now, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.